Hey Wales, good morning. Happy Tuesday. It's August the 12th. Let's recap the markets and go over the top stocks to buy for today. And as always, before we get started, let's jump into our trades to see how we're doing so far this year. You can see we're doing really well, guys. We're up 87K USD in profit, 58% win rate across the board here. And as you guys know, we started only with 100K at the beginning of this year. So 87K in profit, not too bad for the first 7 months of 2025. You can see as well for the month of July, we did have a great solid month overall, finishing up at 9.9K USD in profit as well. So hopefully we can keep up this momentum going into August and September as well. And again, guys, all the trades that you see here, everything from Bank of America to Chipotle to Uber, they're all posted in Discord. So you get the swing trade ideas for those that are busy with their lives, that want bigger position sizes with longer term trades. You have the day trade ideas as well, where you can trade alongside me every single day if you're more active. So yeah, looking forward to seeing you here. The link is in the bio for you to join. Okay, so with that said, let's jump in, guys. Now, firstly, we want to go over the S&P 500 just to make sure we have our bearing straight. And you can see the markets are still extremely bullish overall, right? We're above all the moving averages in terms of wave theory, still working on a 1, 2, 3, 4 on this last leg for a fifth wave before a black 1 and then a black 2 coming down, where again, we're going to be testing the moving averages as sort of that main support on the way down here, where we can basically reload and go bigger in terms of our position sizes, in terms of our swing trades here. And that's sort of what I'm looking at going into sort of the rest of the next few weeks within September. Okay, so that's sort of the area. So all in all, in terms of the 4th to the 5th, just be careful, right? We're still pretty extended on the markets here. I wouldn't go too big, too heavy. Yes, markets can keep extending higher. Of course, we can't time a top. We don't know how a top's going to look like. But at these levels, I don't think I'd go too deep, too big, lesser position sizes, and just get ready for any possible volatility coming our way to go in on a black 2, okay? So with that said, let's jump into the top stocks to buy. For today, you guys can see I love to do multiple different patterns. So I look at the inverse head and shoulders pattern / accumulation. So these companies are essentially, signaling a bottom, money starting to flow into them. So we definitely want to make sure we keep a lookout for that. The next sort of section are the bull flags. So for the bull flags, these are continuation patterns on an uptrend. So we like to position ourselves well into uptrending stocks and buying dips within uptrends. And then, of course, the pullback, so great names that are pulling back into very key levels we love to take a look at as well. Earnings beats, so earnings beats are great companies that have just beat their earnings. However, we want to always make sure we're monitoring them to see if there's great opportunities to buy, right? So if they're continuously growing, if their EPS revenues are continuously growing, we want to make sure we monitor and find positions in them as well. Okay, so with that said, let's jump into the first name, which is Apple on the inverse head and shoulders accumulation pattern. So you guys can see Apple. We mentioned Apple from the lows as well, guys, right, in the previous videos. And we're already in Apple. You guys know Apple's my largest Mag 7 position as well in Discord. So we're starting to, you can see we did make that accumulation pattern. We broke out and made a first higher high, guys, for the first time in a long time. So we had this downtrend, started moving sideways, and we finally broke resistance. So what does this mean? We're starting a bullish sequence, guys. A bullish sequence means that we're officially finished with the downtrending cycle. We finished the accumulation cycle. Now you can buy any dips on Apple moving forward. So on the next larger dip, you should be buying Apple, guys. You should be buying Apple. We have great support across the markets. Good trend line support as well. So the markets are well supported for Apple. It's a lagging name, so it wants to do a catch-up trade. So keep looking at Apple on any dips moving forward. Have this on your watch list, and you should be looking at all-time highs in the future, especially with the new iPhones coming out in September, right? Christmas rally in December tends to do really well for consumer products, especially products as good as Apple. Next one is Alaska Airlines, guys. So Alaska Air continuously accumulating towards the right side, right? We're not downtrending anymore. So as long as this accumulation can hold, we're looking for further upside for Alaskan Air in the future here as well. So look at the daily, right? Starting to move sideways instead of downtrending. Look at the weekly, guys. We're sitting right on the 200 weekly moving average with the rest of the moving averages here. So it's a very nice, solid support on American or Alaskan Airlines moving forward as well. All right, next name is CVS, guys. Very interesting name here. You guys know CVS has been pounded for the last few years, guys. A huge downtrend overall. Horrible sort of company for the last few years. However, it is starting to make some great earnings, okay? And the management team's starting to turn it around a bit. So you can see we're starting to form an inverse head and shoulders possibility here, right? If you take a look as well, let's just take a look at sort of the ratios as well. Yeah, I mean, look, for the extension levels, we're between the 1 and 1.618. So this is where typically corrections like to finish. So we did reach the low, and we're starting to accumulate here. So these are levels that are very interesting for a long-term investor for a company like CVS. Very defensive name, great dividend stock as well. Okay, so you can take a look at a potential inverse head and shoulders on CVS starting to form on the weekly time frame. Another name that's starting to look pretty interesting is Deere & Company, guys. We have a earnings this Thursday coming up, but you can see we're starting to flag out on the weekly time frame. Look at the weekly, starting to flag. On the daily, holding nice support overall. So if the earnings are good, expect to pop, right? If the earnings are bad, it's going to retest the daily 200 moving average. So you can have multiple starter positions, 1 and 2, to get into a great industrial name like Deere & Company moving forward. Great dividend paying name as well. Next name that I love is Coca-Cola. So Coca-Cola, you can see we're starting to form a nice wedge formation on the daily time frame, right? Tightening, coiling pattern. And if you zoom out just a little bit, right, you're looking at a weekly cup and handle formation as well. So one of the more bullish names, in my opinion, for defense, a defensive name, just in case volatility spikes. You're looking at Coca-Cola with amazing earnings, very solid company, very good dividends. You should always have Coca-Cola on your radar. All right, high flyer, Oscar Health, guys. Oscar Health is very interesting as well. Look, you're starting to see inverse head and shoulders play in the past, right? Very complex correction, wedging out, right? Made a higher high for the first time in a while, pulling back, and you can see we are, as long as this weekly 200 moving average can hold price, it has a chance to coil. It has a chance, right? Again, healthcare industry is not doing too hot. Possible to make one more lower down here, closer to maybe like the $7, $9 mark, right? But overall, I wouldn't be upset if people would do a starter position at these levels. Very high volume node here on support. So, this is a pretty interesting level, in my opinion, to get into a high flyer for Oscar. I think in a few years, you should be doing just fine, guys, overall. Next name is MasterCard. MasterCard is very interesting. I do like MasterCard here on the daily time frame. We've been mentioning MasterCard over and over again. Look at this coiling pattern, and this looks very similar to what? What did we mention before? Walmart, guys. Look at the Walmart formation before it broke out, like we've mentioned, right? So it started to coil. So it's very similar to MasterCard. You can also see the brother Visa. Visa is coming down to very interesting levels at the 618 level here. So financials might be interesting. A little bit, it is underperforming a little bit here for Visa and MasterCard, but coming to levels that make sense if you wanted a long-term, very nice, amazing company in your portfolio. Great dividends as well. Another name that I like, we've been mentioning about Tesla for quite a few weeks now, guys. We mentioned, right, started to break, coil, and looking good. Same thing with Apple. It's a lagging name, downtrend, accumulation, uptrend. That's all market structures are, guys. Downtrend, accumulation, uptrend. So we're making the first higher high on Tesla. You can see it broke 338. So any pullback can be considered a buy. You have good support now moving forward on Tesla on the daily moving averages. Weekly, still supporting price, guys, as well. So Tesla is still looking good to me. You shouldn't be bearish on a company like Tesla. Another name that I like is T-Mobile, guys. Look at T-Mobile. beautiful inverse head and shoulders. You guys know T-Mobile is one of my larger positions in my long-term portfolio in the Discord group. So we're starting to look very nice here on T-Mobile, starting to retest the highs here, starting to break above the trend line support. So very nice level for T-Mobile to keep a lookout for. On the weekly, still holding the moving averages. It's on an uptrend. You don't want to bet against T-Mobile. Finally, another telecommunications company, Verizon. Verizon's looking very nice too. Look at the wedge formation starting to form. Okay, starting to break out slowly. There's another sort of trend line here you guys can see. Right, starting to break out for Verizon. So another good name. And if you take a look on a weekly, we're starting to get a golden cross for the first time on Verizon. So bullish name. All right. The next section are the bull flags. So, of course, bull flags are continuation patterns that we love to take a look at. So let's go into the first one, which is Applied Digital, guys. Applied Digital, very high flyer name. You're starting to see some consolidation happening. And any consolidation, in my opinion, keep a lookout for the moving averages as inflection points for a buy position. Okay, so looking for continuation towards the upside. Alibaba as well. Look on the daily time frame, guys, on Alibaba. Starting to make a bit of a flag here as well. Okay, so keep a lookout for something like this, continuation higher. Costco. So I do like Costco. This is more so a longer term position, but you can see that we're starting to make a possible pennant starting to form. So again, pennants, bull flags, ascending triangles, they have 62% chance of going with the trend of going to continuation. So you have a 62% chance of this breaking towards all-time highs in the future for Costco. So don't bet against Costco. It's a great name, one of my larger positions in my portfolio as well. For Carnival, all right, Carnival starting to look very interesting as well. Look at the 4-hour time frame. Look at the daily. Pulling back nicely. Daily consolidation. Moving averages starting to catch up. We've been looking at this for quite some time. All right. Look for that nice pullback and bullish uptrend. All right. So another thing I want to talk to you guys about are the utility industry, guys. Everything with electricity, utilities, water. They're starting to look a little bit better, especially CenterPoint Energy. They are, I'm familiar with CenterPoint from Houston, right? Look at the Houston name here, starting to look pretty good, okay? Another name is Dino Sinclair, looking pretty nice, interesting as well for the daily time frame. Look at the flag starting to form. Moving averages starting to catch up. We got a golden cross on the daily. Meta starting to consolidate here on the daily as well. Might need some time, but keep a lookout for the consolidation continuation. The daily moving averages need to catch up a little bit to price as well, so wait for that consolidation as well. Look at Magnite. Same thing. Flag consolidation starting to form on the moving averages here. We got the golden cross, so bullish name. MPWR, all right. This is another name that's very interesting. Again, same with utilities. Utilities are starting to look a little bit better, guys, in my opinion. Okay, look for that consolidation and look for higher. Utilities, electricity, they might be the next ones to sort of show a little bit of momentum. Same thing with RTX. You guys know I've been bullish on RTX from the lows. We're starting to make some good flag positions here as well for the defensive giant. So RTX looking pretty interesting. Synopsys. So Synopsys is a semiconductor play. Looking nice as well. Look at the flag starting to form. Right? Have all these companies on your radar, guys. This is what I do every single day to make sure that I'm winning all my trades, yeah? Another name, S&P Global. This is a company everyone should always have and keep an eye out on because S&P Global is one of the best names in the board. So keep a lookout for S&P Global, looking very nice. Teradyne beat earnings, pulling back on its earnings, looking interesting. Pull back on the moving averages, looking ready to go soon. Talon Energy, another utilities company, guys. Utilities are starting to pull back nicely. It's not looking impulsive, guys, right? It's looking consolidating. It's looking corrective rather than impulsive, right? We don't like impulsive. We like correcting names and nice, healthy correction consolidation. Win is looking nice. Daily moving averages starting to catch up. Nice flag on Win Resorts. And ETF for utilities. You look at the utilities industry, guys. Right? Flagging. Looking ready to go soon in the future. Maybe a few more weeks. Utilities. Keep an eye out. Okay, so those are the flags, the bull flags. Let's take a look at the pullbacks. So these are companies that have pulled back. Good names. So let's take a look. So the first one is American Electric. Keeping up with the utilities industry. Look at this, guys. Nice wedge formation. Very nice. That's what I like. All right. AMD. We mentioned to buy AMD when it reached here at 160. We mentioned to buy AMD all across these, right? So again, pulling back on the moving average is still within an uptrend. If it starts losing this low at 157, okay, now it's starting to have a daily downtrend, which means that weekly consolidation. So for now, AMD still above the price. So this could turn into an inverse head and shoulders off the low here. So pretty interesting level. You can buy and then put your stop loss underneath that low if you wanted to. So interesting name. Berkshire. Berkshire is on a weekly consolidating level, daily downtrend. But you can start seeing it's coming down to some amazing weekly levels. Every time it reaches the weekly moving averages, it's a sign to maybe potentially start positioning in. Okay? It may be a sign to start potentially going in. Look at that. All on its uptrend on the weekly. So it's retesting it. Can still go down lower, but I do like these levels if you're interested in a great name for a potential great name player. Okay. Another one that I think would be interesting is Cake. So keep a lookout for Cake. Cheesecake Factory is a great name so far, right? Growing revenues, good dividends, starting to wedge out. I see 3-wave move. All right. So look for accumulation and expansion. Chipotle. Chipotle is on a weekly downtrend, monthly consolidation. So still looking pretty interesting to me. Good name. Look at the monthly. Every time it reached the monthly, signal to bottom here on the moving averages. All right. Coinbase. Coinbase, we mentioned to buy down here with the Discord group, right? So you're already really big in profit at 190s. And this could be an interesting play here on the moving averages on Coinbase as well to reload. For ELF. ELF, we mentioned to buy at the lows. Also here, started to move up from the Discord group. Starting to flag out. So look for ELF to continue for continuation higher. Let's see. Fiserv. Fiserv is an interesting name. They are the hidden payment giant here. Take a look at the monthly moving average, guys. Every time it reached the monthly moving averages, signal to bottom. Signal to bottom. Signal to bottom. Signal to bottom, 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 right? So it is at levels that make sense. But take your time. It's going to probably take a while for this to turn around, yeah? IBM. IBM's getting very interesting at the moving averages on the weekly. Pulled back very deeply. Already pulled back 20% on a great company name. So could be interesting here to get in on IBM. Take a look at Rocket Lab as well. Rocket Lab's nice. We're already in Rocket Lab from the lows, guys, right? We made over 100% on Rocket Lab from the Discord group. So you're looking at weekly, daily consolidation. Let's see if the moving averages can catch up and form an inflection point. Okay. All right, so now let's go over the earnings beat companies, guys. So these are companies that we love to take a look at and monitor as they beat their earnings. The first one is Amazon. So we did get into Amazon from lows, and we did add here at 213, 214. So let's see if it does a double correction before higher, or if it can continue its path here. But I do like Amazon here. Still very good company. You should always have Amazon. ASML, inverse head and shoulders play. Obviously, you can see it. Not a name that personally for me is my favorite, just because I don't know what the company really does. It does have a monopoly in some way in the process of semiconductors, but just not a company for me. For American Express, right? Great starter position opportunity at the moving averages here. Great dividend paying name. It can retest some of these lows down here at 260s, 270s. So keep a lookout. DHI, you guys know we've been bullish on home builders with the Discord group. We're in from the lows. So we're up massively on DHI. And you can see why is that every time it reached the weekly moving averages, it signaled a bottom. So that's why we went in. I think home builders has reached the lowest point of its life. So we got in. Duolingo. Great earnings. Pulled back massively, guys. Pulled back massively. This is an interesting one on the weekly moving averages here. So let's see if Duolingo can continue higher or if it's going to retest some of these lows, right, moving forward. We just don't know yet. Okay. In a pretty good uptrend still, but let's see. I wouldn't mind a starter position on Duolingo at these levels. Another name that's interesting is JP Morgan. For me, I'd rather wait for JP to come down just a little bit more, yeah, on the moving averages on the daily. But it is a great name. You should be buying. Google, almost at all-time highs. You guys know I'm in Google. Google is my former employer as well. So I'm in. I'm ready to go. I'm going to be buying on any dips moving forward. MODG. So for Topgolf, Callaway. So for me, this is a high flyer. This is a risky one, but I think that for Topgolf Callaway, maybe the worst is over. I don't see it breaking below these lows, guys. So possible for a chance for Topgolf to turn it around with Callaway. Callaway's a great brand. Golf is on the rise. So let's see if they can turn it around here. Had a golden cross for the first time in a while. Price is retesting the golden cross area. Microsoft. We're in from the lows with the Discord group. Okay, so we're holding our longs. Let's see if Microsoft can continue pushing higher here. It's very supported on the 4-hour time frame. Micron. We mentioned to buy Micron on these lows here at 106, right, from the previous videos for a few weeks ago. Doing really well now and pushing higher, right? So I wouldn't be chasing this one, but congrats to those that got in. For Cloudflare, we're looking for Cloudflare to come down and reach the moving averages. Cybersecurity software names have been very hit hard, right? They've been very bearish. So we're waiting for better levels. For Netflix, again, we mentioned to buy here with the Discord group in from the lows as well. So look for potential higher highs now. Okay, let's see if Netflix can continue its uptrend. PepsiCo's looking better. Same thing with Coca-Cola, guys. Right, defensive name, good dividends, starting to flag out possibly. So you can buy on PepsiCo on this sort of consolidation here if it can form. PayPal's looking a little bit weak. Can come down to the 618 levels for a chance at buyers to step in or even come down to 50. So we'll have to take a look at PayPal, but not a name that for me I go into. I'm more of a Stripe user. For Reddit, you guys know Reddit's my darling. We've been mentioning from the lows to buy in every single time. Continues to go higher. I think it's going to reach all-time highs. And Reddit's going to be the next huge social media company. I mean, it fuels the entire AI conversations, fuels entire AI information and customer sentiment. So Reddit, you got to go into Reddit, guys, on the next pullback. for rocket companies. Again, same thing with DHI, same thing with the home builders. Anything home related, I think is very bullish. Got a golden cross for the first time in a long time, right? Expect price to sort of mingle, inflection, and go. Shopify, another one of my darlings, guys. You know how bullish I am on Shopify. I love Shopify. Look for extensions higher here. Okay, any dip is considered a buy. TMDX, we mentioned again on Discord, buy the dip at 67, went all the way up to 144, pulling back. We mentioned again, buy the dips at 105, starting to show some life. Golden cross, looking very good. Another name is TSM. TSM starting to look interesting, right? I'm waiting for the moving averages. Right now, for me, I'm not chasing this one. Okay, but looking very strong again. And then finally, for Visa, like we mentioned, coming down to the 618, good name. American Express, Visa, MasterCard, you can't go wrong with them in the long term. Okay, so those are all the names, guys. And again, come join Discord. You get the swing trade ideas. You get the day trade ideas every day. You get the daily charts every single day, guys. So every morning you get updates on how the charts are looking, so you know exactly when to buy, what to do across multiple names like Google, HIMS, Palantir. You get exactly when I get in and get out of trades as well. So I look forward to seeing you here. And yeah, let's make a lot of money. Talk to you guys soon.